Welcome to Michael Potts F1, everything Formula One, but from a photographer's point of view. It's time to check in on the latest developments in the F1 drivers market. I did a video on this subject some time ago. There were 11 seats available, but since then, 5 drivers have now signed, and I'm pleased to say that I was 100% right in all of those picks. However, the next 6 drivers, my predictions aren't looking that promising. The first 5 that we know about are Sergio Perez remaining at Red Bull, Lance Stroll continuing at Aston Martin, Pierre Gasly signing at Alpine, Yuki Tsunoda doing one more year at VCarb, and Oliver Behrman signing at Haas. So the most obvious 5 to predict. For the other 6, I'm a lot less confident. I had Esteban Ocon remaining at Alpine, and we know that he's leaving, so this is one that's already wrong. I also had Daniel Ricciardo at Racing Bulls, Liam Lawson at Williams, Carlos Sainz at Audi, and Haas picking up Valtteri Bottas, all of which are looking a little bit suspect. I did have Kimi Antonelli picked for Mercedes, and they do still look set to promote him from F2. The young Italian driver won his first F2 race at the British Grand Prix. It was a great time to do it because the whole team was looking on, and it was a drive that really impressed. He is currently 8th in the championship, but there were some concerns that he wasn't making much of an impression. But that win will have reassured everybody. Surprisingly, it's not just Kimi Antonelli's form that has concerned people, but it's also Mercedes' uptick in performance. At the start of the year, they didn't think they'd be competing for wins, but now there's a thought that they might be competitive in 2025. So do they risk a young driver in a year where they could win a title, or do they go for a safe pair of hands like Carlos Sainz? There are very, very strong rumours linking Esteban Ocon with the open seat at Haas, and we'll probably get an announcement on that this week. It's a good seat for Ocon, as Hulkenberg showed this year. Ocon really needs to show the paddock that he can work well with a teammate, given that there's a perceived perception that he's not really a team player. That reputation might have cost him drives at bigger teams. No one is questioning his pace. Then there's the open seat at Racing Bulls, but this is a lot more complex than it seems, so I'm going to come back to that one a little bit later. This leaves 3 seats with Alpine, Williams, and Sauber Audi. There are several drivers in contention, but the one that everyone's after is Carlos Sainz. He's a multiple race winner, he's a great team player, looks really good, and is a marketeer's dream. It looked like there was a big money deal for him at Audi, but recently there's been doubts expressed about their readiness in 2026. Then we all thought that he was certainly going to go to Williams, and an announcement would be made at the Spanish Grand Prix. But again, nothing happened. At that race, rumours started that Alpine was an option. The French car manufacturer suggested they would no longer produce their own engines, but rather become a customer team of Mercedes. This would make them a much more attractive option for both drivers and sponsors, and it would free up the engine facility to be more commercially productive. It would also make the team a lot easier to sell in the future. Now, Alpine hasn't completed any of these deals, so Sainz is waiting to see if this is actually going to happen. He's also waiting to see if Mercedes sign Kimi, or if something big happens at Red Bull. So he's trying to put off signing as long as possible. But the big 3 teams have all had a chance to sign him, and they haven't. And that's despite everyone perceiving his value to be very, very high. An Alpine with a Mercedes engine is a decent option, but I still think the long-term view of an Audi project is still the best bet for him. They are a team that's likely to produce a race-winning car at some point in the future. And yes, there's probably going to be at least 2 difficult years getting there. Wouldn't that be better than scrapping for lower points in an Alpine or a Williams? And what can he show the world in those 2 teams that he hasn't already shown us in Ferrari? The other drivers waiting for Sainz moves are Valtteri Bottas, Kevin Magnussen, Zhou Guanyu, and Logan Sargent. They're also the development drivers Jack Doohan and Liam Lawson. There's a host of others, but they're all quite long shots at this stage. Bottas looks set to snuffle whichever Williams or Audi seats Sainz doesn't pick up. Audi would be a bit awkward for him because it looks like he wasn't the team's preferred choice, or they would have signed him months ago. Zhou and Sargent have sponsorship money, which could make them attractive. However, neither of them have impressed on track over an extended period of time. I don't see either of them being frontline drivers in Formula One. Kevin Magnussen has been blown away by Nico Hulkenberg, and even though he's done everything the team's asked him to do, including breaking the rules to keep Nico in the points, it doesn't appear to be enough to keep him at Haas. He is sounding like someone who's looking for life outside Formula One. Development driver Jack Doohan is on a program designed to prepare him for Formula One. This includes doing many FP1 sessions. However, it does look like he's a backup if Alpine don't get Sainz. So, as you can see, everything is up in the air until Carlos Sainz makes his choice. But that brings us on to the massive Red Bull in the room. There are question marks hanging over all of the drivers, apart from Yuki. There are rumours that Max wants to get out of his contract and move to Mercedes, despite reassurances that he plans to see out his contract. Daniel Ricciardo has been under pressure all year, being outperformed by his teammate, and I've heard rumours that Liam Lawson's recent Silverstone tests were a bit underwhelming. And then there's Sergio Perez, who, if rumours are to believe, has only 2 races left to save his seat. There is so much uncertainty around Red Bull right now that if any of these drivers leave, it could have massive implications for the drivers' market. And trying to predict anything is practically impossible at this stage. If anything, things are less clear now than they were 3 months ago. Thank you so much for joining me for this look into the drivers' market. I really do hope you've enjoyed it. What are your thoughts? Who do you think is going to end up where in 2025? Please do let me know in the comments below. Next up is the Hungarian Grand Prix. So until then, goodbye.